colors familiar with Keune? Ramirez played with Keune semi-color. Yay! Alright, awesome. That's what we're going to go over today. So thank you for being here today and welcome me into your salon. It is absolutely beautiful. You're welcome. My name is Victoria Kelly. I'm a stylist behind the chair, just like you, as well as an educator for Keune. And we're going to talk about our semi-color today. Honestly, from our tinsel class, you're familiar with the cloud. Any questions that are off topic, you can put them here. So I'm going to stick that over here, if that's all right.
Off topic?
Any off-topic questions can go on the cloud. But again, semi-tinted, I can answer them for you. Obviously, you know what our color levels are. 1 through 10, -2. I don't think I need to go over this with you.
Because you said that there was no difference visually.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I had to use that this week in my head formulating something. And I was like, I'm going to do it. And it was dark enough.
Yeah.
To do.
Your 3 was, you said with your, when you used the semi, your 3 became dark enough, right?
Mm-hmm. But this was with the permanent.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay.
And it worked out perfect.
Awesome.
So I was, impressed.
So our color characteristics are the same as in Tinta. Your 0.1's going to be your ash blue, your 0.2 is your pearl, your 0.3 is your gold, your 0.4 is your copper, your 0.5 is your mahogany, your 0.6 is your red, your 0.7 is violet, your 0.8 is your warm brown, and then your 0.9 is your anti-red or green.
Okay, I had a question about the brown. I've never seen that on any other color. So what, or color line.
Mm-hmm.
So what makes that what it is to...
So your Keune color is a cool base to begin with. Your semi-line is a natural base. So with it having the cool base to it in the permanent, it helps give you that warmer brown tone.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Or make
Sure
it more
does.
of a neutral.
That, you answered it.
Okay.
Because I thought, why? Why is that in there? Okay.
Because Keune's cool base.
That's right.
Your benefit is your 20-minute processing time. It is your 1 to 2 mixing ratio. It gives you that creamy gel-like formula. And it does do up to 70% gray blending, which was like the biggest mind blower for me when I started playing around with that on some of my grayer clients and things like that. Again, no heat and ammonia-free because it is a demi-permanent color.
When I did the silver and the gray yesterday, when I did the gray on her scalp, because she had regrowth, but we were just trying to melt it up.
Right.
And she's got really stubborn gray. I was floored of the blend I got. I didn't think I'd get any because she's so stubborn.
Yeah.
And and that was just.
What's her percentage of
That was
gray?
no level. Probably only 50, if that, but they're really resistant, wiry.
Yeah.
So I was super impressed because that really is not a level. What
No,
you use.
the gray's not a level. Yeah, you're correct.
So I thought, I was impressed with what I did get.
Awesome. I love to hear that. That's why, like, these grays are so much fun to play with. Could you imagine if you would have added a level with it, how much more blending you would have got with that too?
I just didn't want to get too dark.
I understand.
And then I thought, well, that would be my next step. I wrote that on a card.
Well, perfect.
Add the level, so.
Well, we'll get into that too, how to make it not darker. You ready to move on? It is super long lasting, and that's why you don't need to add the heat to it. It does make the longevity of your color last. It's tone-on-tone coloring, and it does have a neutral pH, so it's great for after highlighting surfaces. Again, the gel cream for easy application, low alkalinity, and it's, with it being a demi-permanent, it's got oxidative and non-oxidative dyes.
Okay, and one more time. Make sure it's in my head. The semi is neutral. I know the Tinta is cool, but the semi is neutral, not cool.
Correct.
And what's the reason for that?
For
the semi being not having a cool base?
I'm going to have to get back to you on that.
I didn't know if there was a reason.
Sure.
I'm sure there is, like logically, like or chemically.
Yeah, if you think about it, like semi or demi-permanent line, you're depositing most of the time. So you need more warmth when you're depositing.
You're right. Versus when you
Yeah.
lift, you'd rather need more cooling. Okay.
I had that question too. It's like, oh, that's simple.
Yeah,
But yeah, you just
That
don't
makes-
think of it.
That's why I thought I know it's gonna be something.
Yeah,
something.
I
just
know
don't
it's in
think of
my
it.
notes, but it's just,
Well, now we know.
now we know. Thank you for that. Yeah, your 3D Still Soft technology, so it gives you, with it being your demi, it gives you that extra condition, shine, and durability. So it's going to give you that nice shiny longevity of your color.
Okay.
So that's that's really cool, and that is patented to the 79 as well with Keune. Your color range is all your levels 1 through 10 minus 2. You have clear, you have mixed tones. Don't mind my creative spelling on silver. Gray, your infinity, and your neutral base as well. Your activators, you have your semi-color activator, which is your kind of basic activator, is good for everything you can use. It is a 5.6% in mixture, or a 5.6 volume and a 1.5% in mixture. And then that's for your general use. And your semi-color red activator is 2% in mixture or your 7 volume. It's great to intensify your natural or your red shades on natural levels 1 through 5.
Okay, and again, this is, since it's so close in volume, why would they make 2?
Because you have that, it's just that extra 0.5% is going to make a difference to lift through the red infinity shades, which is what it was designed for. So all of your RIs here, it's going to just expose that tiny bit more warmth in your darker shades to help intensify it a little bit more.
Okay, and those are red boosters. It's the developer is just on these.
You can use the red infinity on other ones if you do want to expose that little bit more warmth. Like if I'm doing, say I'm refreshing like a 7.3 on the ends or something like that, I might want that extra gold in her hair if she's too faded or a little too ashy. So it will lift it just a smidge more to give you some more warmth.
Okay.
So that's what that's good for. It's not going to hurt, but you just got to keep in mind that it does expose a little bit more warmth than the general activator.
Okay, because I thought it's so close. Does it really make a difference? So yeah.
So it's great for the red infinities, which is exactly what it was designed for.
Okay.
Any other questions? Your semi-color clear, that's where you can have fun with it with your gray client and with using the level with it. So you can do your tone on tone, which is for your glossing. You can pastel light your shades, so that's good for a 10 or higher. So you would do 30 grams clear with your 5 grams of your fashion shades. Now if you remember, all of our fashion shades are everything
Kelly,
without
Okay, girls, Victoria, and this is Ella.
So all of your fashion shades are anything with without a 0.0 on the end. So all of these guys over here. So any of your blondes want to add a little bit of like funness to the hair, you can do it with this. So it'd be 30 grams of your clear, 5 grams of your fashion shades, and 70 grams of your activator. Since it's just for fun, it's only going to be 10 to 20 minute processing time. You don't have to let it sit the full 20 if they just want like a hue of it.
Okay. You would still use 30 grams of clear and only 5 grams of the fashion shade.
You could cut it in half too, even if you wanted to. It just depends on how intense they want it and how long they want it to last, but that's when your processing time would come in.
Okay, so say the lilac or the silver. So I should have used toning yesterday. The girl that I was doing, that was Tony, I should have used more clear and only a little bit, because I did it just the opposite.
This is going to fade off a lot quicker, release from the hair a lot quicker, so keep that in mind. There is another option to do that, which is on the next page.
Oh, okay.
That. This is just for fun. Keep in mind when you're that blonde and you want like, I don't know, we'll say 10.7, you want some more violet for the weekend or something like that, but you don't want it to last, you want to go back to your neutral blonde, that's going to release from the hair a lot quicker.
Okay, with the more clear. Okay. So
And
it's going to give you a lighter shade or just release quicker?
Just release quicker. It'll still give you the deposit and it still is going to lighten it since you are using clear, but...
Okay. Because we're used to, the more clear you add, the more diluted it gets. And the less intensity.
It will still have that intensity, but you are again only using the 5 grams with the clear.
Okay. Got it.
But I do feel like it lasts still a pretty decent amount of time because I did the silver lilac on one of my clients that are pretty much as blonde as you, and that lasted almost 2 weeks on her, surprisingly. The hue did.
With this formula, with the 30.
We
Okay.
did it just to play, but she only washes twice a week, so I'm going to
That
assume
helps.
that's why. But it was still, or her porosity is going to play a huge difference too.
What was the result? I'm just wondering. Was it
She,
like that?
you know, it was really pretty. Like, it was kind of like purple. It had that purpley cast like she wanted for the weekend. And when she came back, like, it was still, like, cool. Like, I was really impressed with it but she has really coarse hair too, so I'm sure that had to do with her porosity mostly.
So it wasn't like that swatch. It was lighter than that.
Just a little bit.
Yes.
It looked,
Oh.
I don't know, it was still had a lot of purple in her hair, but I don't know what she did at home to maintain it. That's my other thing
Yeah.
too, but it was still purpley when she came back, which was really cool.
Well, that's funny you said that because that's what I was thinking yesterday when she went out the door with the silver. I'm like, okay, I really needed to be giving her something to maintain this.
The Silver Savior from the Caroline that Keune has to offer, that purple shampoo is amazing.
Okay, so that would have been it. That's
It's
what's
awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really great. She could have been using a purple shampoo at home too to intensify it. She didn't tell me, but we just
Okay.
went back to her normal neutral blonde. She didn't want as much purple in it, so it was fun to play with.
If you were doing the glossing, what would your formula?
Glossing, you would just say you want 30 grams and 60 grams of your activator, like if you just want to add shine to the hair.
Oh, see, I guess I gotta get that in my head. Even though it's double the developer, I wouldn't have thought that with even the glossing, but even the glossing is still double developer to clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions about the pasteurizing?
Kelly with the semi-permanent? Semi. I'm gonna use the correct term. It's double developer to color. So that's what, you can barely see the boxes that are silver and halfway on this shelf. Those are the semi, yeah, they're double developer.
Okay.
See, the really cool thing is, if you don't mind, it's on your developer too. So your tinta has the square, and your boxes have the squares. Your circles are on your developers, just like in the swatch book.
When you look down at this, these are all neutrals. And then these are all like the extra gray coverage. Obviously that's getting into the ashes. See how this has a square and a dot? That means this comes in permanent tinta and it comes in semi. That's what the circle is. So when she just said that about the developer, the bottle over there that's got the circle, it's for the circles are semi.
Okay.
So see, all of these are semi, that's what she was talking about, or these are, they don't come in permanent, they're just
In your semi line.
for deposit only.
Okay.
Yeah, the color key at the bottom, you weren't there for the tinta class, but the color key at the bottom is going to tell you everything you need to know and what it means in the thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the color key's awesome.
Okay.
See, and I'd gone over all that before I went to the class because it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
It really was. So I could ask some good questions at the class
Right.
because I kind of had a feel where you haven't even gone over it.
Yeah, I haven't used any of it yet. We're still the beta room.
Yeah, that's all right. That's why we have these
We're
classes.
gonna be kicked out.
Not.
So with their clear, you have endless possibilities. So for example, we don't have a 5.6 in your semi line. We just have it in permanent. So there's your tinta square there. So, but we have semi in 4.6. So what you can do is, if you want to make a 5.6, you would do 30 grams clear to 30 grams 4.6 and 120 grams your activator to make your 5.6 this one.
So if you mix half clear with it, it's just going to boost up one level.
Correct.
That's what I needed to know.
Now, if you want to go 2 levels for your 6.6, you would do 40 grams clear, 30 grams 4.6, and then 120 grams your activator. So that is a little different
It is.
versus like quadruple or tripling.
Got a picture of this one.
Yeah, take it.
Yeah. Okay. 'Cause I figured you were going to say it was something different, but I wouldn't have thought it was that close.
Right?
Yeah, because I guess if you get too much clear, it gets too diluted.
Correct. Because you still want to have that red pigment to it. So that's super helpful when you are making your colors. Now for your dual color application. So you'll do your tinta on the roots and then you'll have, or for your dry application, but it'll work for dual coloring as well. You do 15 grams clear, 30 grams your semi-shade, and then 90 grams your activator.
Wait a minute, I need to get this in my head. Okay, is that to just put on the end when you've already put tinta on the regrowth? Is that what you're
You
saying?
can if the hair's, or this is just for any dry application, say they don't want their hair shampooed or something like that.
Okay.
So it'll dilute it just a little bit so you're not going darker, because when you apply the semi on dry hair, it's always going to take a smidge darker.
That's what I needed to know. Okay.
So adding a little bit of clear is going to help make sure it stays on tone and on level.
Okay, and this may be getting a little too deep, but what is the reason behind it being applied to damp hair versus dry? Is it because like a wet sponge is gonna absorb more than the dry sponge? Is it really that same principle?
Yeah, especially because again, when you're depositing only, it's generally on damp hair, like after your toning, for toning purposes
Good
and things
point.
like that. Yeah, but you're 100% correct with the wet sponge more than the dry sponge. Good
Okay.
analogy.
Okay.
So that's really helpful when you are applying it on dry hair. If you, again, I like it a lot for dual coloring, which is you'll do your root application with your tinta. You'll let it process 10 minutes. And then on the lengths in the end, you'll do one part of your semi-color to 2 parts of your activator still on, this would be on damp hair. So I'll spray like the Keune protein spray on the ends to moisten it a little bit, and then I'll get it, it's going to fill the hair with your protein spray and fill the porosity of it, and so that's on damp hair. It'll already be dampened, so then you'll be able to apply your semi right over that.
That's what I usually do, is spray it with a.
Spray it with the protein spray. So you might not have to do the dry application formula with the clear, is just spraying it with the protein.
And I do that, usually I do, so.
Okay. Have you played around with the Keune's protein spray from the Caroline?
No, because I don't have it.
You don't have it yet.
Mm-mm.
You'll love
No,
it.
because I don't have anything wet yet. I got it years ago, well, not years, but a few years ago, and I don't even remember why.
I love the protein spray. Like, that's one of my favorite things. And Ella taught me this in her class. If you're highlighting, you're like, oh, this one's done. Spray your protein spray on it real quick and I'll stop it.
And I remember you touched on that last week for a second. Aveda has one, and so does, the state, the other Kevin Murphy's. That's what's the only one I have right now.
That's alright.
So if you burn yourself too, you can spray the protein spray and it helps relieve the
Very
burn.
good.
Yeah.
Just like some fun things, but I use it before every color to like even out porosity.
See, that's what's in that white bottle right behind you. I use it on everything.
It's your
That
protein
one.
spray.
I'm a big protein person.
It's good. You'll love the Caroline then. Like, and it just smells good. Like, who doesn't like that?
Now, and that the Caroline is all the shampoo, the conditioners, all this. There was something else you guys had last week that was only in the salon. Oh, it was that silver. I'm sorry,
The Ultimate Blonde.
purple spray.
Yeah, back bar only. It's great to pre-tone with, or to even like, if you want to do like your silver, you could have sprayed her with that purple spray first, and then spray your toner over the top of it. You don't have to rinse it off.
And do you think that would have made it last longer, or made the shade?
It very well could have, or it could have gave her a little bit more of a purple cast as well, depending on the porosity of her hair also.
It's the same stuff that Whitney bought.
Yeah,
Sports
the
It's the
spray,
same
that's
principle.
what I was just thinking.
And and I love
It's
the
intense.
smell of it too. It is intense. Like,
It
you
works.
blow dry it into the hair, even if they want like a purple streak, like it would work on your hair, something like that.
Yeah, you put it.
I did, and we got it.
I
Give me
saw
that.
it, yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely look into it. I know my rep dropped off some samples of it, and I'm like, this is life. Like, when it first came out, what was it, earlier this summer? I think the Ultimate Blonde's toning spray came out, right?
That's what it's
Maybe,
called.
yeah, maybe a little earlier. I don't know exactly.
I just remember I got it earlier this year.
Ultimate
and it
Blonde
was-
toning spray.
That's your dual coloring formula, and you're still going to process a total of 30 minutes. So get your root color on, go to the back, mix it up, and then apply your accent color on the ends. And then all over that nice gloss and shine and all the other goodness. For your gray blending, this will be helpful with your silver client as well. You'll do one part of your natural shade to 2 parts of your fashion shade and still double your activator. And that's for additional blending, not super high percentage of gray.
Okay, so it's one part of the natural.
Depending
Heather
on-
Browning yesterday, I toned her whole thing with silver and gray.
Oh, you did?
And I did some spot tests first, and the end result was pretty darn good considering what we started
Did you
with.
think
And I didn't really know like any of this detail, or I would have
Right.
probably altered it a little bit. Now I know.
Well, it's fun to play with, and that's what these classes are for too, to give you more options to play with as well. And then you do have your optimal blending, which would be 1 part natural and 1 part fashion, and still double your activator.
Okay.
If they're a little bit more of a higher percentage of gray, it'll help with that.
Is that going to make it a little bit? It would make it a little bit darker than what you think to toning it.
No, I don't think it would necessarily make it darker. I just think it wouldn't be as wouldn't be as much of the fashion shade that you're doing. So if you want more gold or more ash, it's again still a
More
neutral
intense.
base. Yeah.
Okay.
And you have both of them on your photo.
Did
And then you're back to that coloring. I know we touched on that a little bit with the tinta class. So why you would want to do a back-to-back is to take the hair 2 or more shades darker, color correction, and then replace the natural warmth in the hair.
Okay, I think I had a question about this. Pre-coloring, like filling.
This will save you so much time. Like it's only 2 steps, which is amazing. So
And I can't remember what it is though. It's with water.
that's the pre-pigmentation fluid, and that's from the tinta line. This is the semi way to do it. So if somebody doesn't want to have like a complete permanent change, so say somebody wants to be like deeper in the fall, but they still want to be able to highlight their hair come spring, it won't be as hard when you lift through the semi color versus the pre-pigmentation because that's permanent.
Got it. So in other words, are you gonna give me the formula on that?
I am.
Okay.
So what happens if we don't do it? We know we get dull color, your ends are going to be lighter, it's going to fade quick, and you can get that gray-green look without filling the hair and replacing the warmth, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure we've seen that walking around.
Muddy.
Muddy, yeah, muddy. So for your back-to-back color application, you're going to have your desired semi-color, and then your semi-mixed tone, which I'll have it on the chart on the next page. And then you're going to process for your 20 minutes. You might want to take a photo of this too when I'm done.
Okay.
And then you're going to rinse and towel dry only. And then for your second application, it's going to be your desired semi-color formulation, process with double your activator, process your 15 to 20 minutes time, and then you're going to rinse and shampoo with and follow up with your after color program.
Okay, and the mix tone is. It is.
Oh, the chart is on there, but your mixed tones are over here. If
That's-
you wanted, yeah. So some of those don't come in your semi line, so
That. Don't. Oh, okay.
so you won't have your 0/10, and you won't have your 0/55.
So in other words, you can actually fill. You can fill with this.
Your
I
mixed
did
tone.
not know that.
Yeah, you'll use your mixed tones to fill.
Boy, that. So really, just say this. Say the girl yesterday wanted to be what.
I'll give you a formula on the next page, yeah.
So really, I could have. Really, you just apply it twice, basically. Is what you're. Am I right?
Yeah, you will, but the first formula, or the first time you'll have to add your mixed color into it, and the second time you'll follow up with your desired shade. So take a photo of that.
I would have never. I missed that last week. It didn't sink in.
That's okay.
That this gray. See, that's why I wanted Whitney to see this because she's got all these people that want this
I
kind of
know,
stuff,
I
and
wish
she has
she
such
had.
trouble getting
You
it.
can play with those mixed shades
Yeah.
and your mixed tones and make fashion tones with them also. Like it's a lot of fun. But for your back to back, this is your chart to fill that with. So
Say
So yeah,
Yeah,
if she
we'll
wants to do
pretend
8, you'll have your yellow orange, and you can use 0/33 or 0/44 with 8 grams of your mixed tone, and this is per 60 grams of color, so a whole tube of color.
8. Okay, and that is for. You're adding the 3-3 or the 4-4, no matter what desired result you want.
Well, you need to think about what your desired result
Well, that's
is.
what I'm
So
thinking.
if it's a 9.1, that's ashy. I wouldn't want to add copper to it.
Well, that's what I'm
If
thinking.
it's a 9.04, I could add the copper to it that way to intensify the warmth. So you've got to think what they want to and what mixed tone you would want to use for it. Same thing with the level 5. You could do orange or red, so your 0/44 or your 0/66.
But it's always going to be one of these.
One of the warm ones, and obviously as you go darker, you need red, so that would be your 0/66.
So you're not going to use this to fill.
Fill. You wouldn't use the 0/10, no.
This is kind of like we had with the Veda. These are the
Kind
Veda
of,
colors.
but they're like, you know how we got the red, the blue, purple, not RV. Not RV, not wild, like VB,
Yeah,
the straight ones, the purple, the
Yes.
green,
yeah.
that's what it is.
And then with your Keune color goals, you could measure these out, but you don't want to compensate for developer when you're using the mixed tones.
You don't.
You don't.
Okay, that's what I always thought.
Yeah. So example, my client's a level 9. I want to go to a 5.4. So your first application, since she's going copper, I chose to add the red to give it a little bit more fill, and so that copper's still going to stand out because you're doing 2 applications of the copper hair.
Okay, all right, so but this first application, you're still gonna put the 5.4 in there, you're just gonna add the 6.6 to it.
Yes, with the 8 grams of that to 60 grams of your 5.4 and then 120 grams of your activator.
Okay.
So that's your filling process of it. There's your retinoid to fill the hair.
Okay, I'll tell you where I was getting confused.
Sorry, you go first, because you know what you're talking about, I'm gonna ask.
I was thinking you were just filling with this straight, not the desired level
Yeah,
also.
you use your desired level and that.
And then you're just adding a little bit of this.
Mhm.
Okay,
So
okay.
if you were doing 30
Man,
grams,
why
you
would I? Okay.
if you were doing 30 grams, you would just cut the formula in half. So that would be 8 grams of your 0/6.6, and then my math, then it's 60 grams of your activator.
Okay. What was your question?
Where's the 5.4, and what is the 0.4?
So
I
your
knew
0.4
this.
is
I know.
copper.
Okay,
Here's the easiest way to remember it. This is just gonna say 1 through 10
yeah,
on the box. But once you get into the ash series, they're all gonna say 1.
okay.
9-1. If it's gold, it's gonna be 9-3, 9-4.
Okay.
Then when they got 2 numbers, like 838,
Mhm.
that means it's level 8, it's gold. How much percent gold?
It's 50% your level 8, 30% your gold, and,
And
then
then 20% the third number. So you'll have some of this and this, 30% that, 20% that.
Okay,
Keune takes the guessing game out of everything, and if you ever have any questions, flip to the back of your book. This is gonna be like your little Bible. It tells you everything.
And
you
it,
need to
honest
know.
to God,
It's
everything
so
you need
helpful.
it's right there.
okay.
And if not, we do have an 800 number. We do have other like ways to get a hold of Keune too, and there's always somebody that's gonna be willing to help you.
Okay.
But as complicated as it kind of seems, it really isn't.
Yeah.
It is super simple. But see, that's something we're not used to with the numbers,
Two
Yeah.
numbers,
because we only have neutral and
and then you have your additives,
Two.
correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
so where this is just already added, but it's showing the percent
Right,
that's been already been added, so you kind of know what's in it.
So in
Yeah.
say 8.3, that's your level 8, 50% level 8, and then 50% your 0.3, which is your gold.
okay.
All right, there was one question on here that I wanted to make sure to ask. There was like the third number was something that wasn't on here, like it was a 9 or something.
Which one were you looking
Let's see. It was something, right there, 619.
at?
Well, where's 9? Like, what is 9?
It's your anti-red, it's your green. So all of the 1/9s are really great when you're lifting dark hair or even coarser texture. It's going to give you that extra. We say anti-red because we don't want to tell
Use
a
green,
client. You're
you're
like, I'm
right.
gonna put green on your hair and it's gonna take the red away. And the client's like, green hair.
Okay.
It's your anti-red.
That's what that means.
Okay.
Okay. Just like the BG. BG.
Yeah, yeah.
So it'll sound a
So
little bit nicer.
So even though it's not on here because there's really no swatch.
Correct, because could you imagine a client seeing that swatch?
Uh-uh.
Right.
Yeah,
That's scary. Well, I don't want to say scary enough, but
right.
well, there's a 9,
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
And that's in your tinta only. That's not in your
Correct.
semi.
but still the 9 will represent the same thing of the
Absolutely.
shade.
And
Okay.
yeah, again, so not. I feel like when you say green, that does tend to scare clients off. I know. I've said that before.
Will you be doing another class like the one she went to last week?
Probably it would be Ella. You would have to request her. I'm still
Okay.
doing my shadowing.
Okay.
So Ella's an angel in here helping me out so I can send this video in.
Okay.
Because I'm almost done now. I'm so
Oh,
excited.
good for you.
Well, and we're willing to, like, if you have a class at another salon, if they don't care us tagging along, we would love to come along.
Absolutely.
So don't hesitate to ask us if you've got
Yeah.
it, because we'll go.
Yeah,
It's so much
And
fun.
any questions if you, I mean, even if you want to start writing down questions as they come up, I'm happy
Yeah.
to help.
Mhm. Okay,
That's whatever you need.
okay.
Okay.
So definitely know I reached out to her after the first class I took from her. I'm like, help.
Well, because I mean, like I said, I was asking questions when you
Yeah.
first got here, because I already had some coming up.
Write them
All
down and shoot her a text, email, whatever. We'll help you. We're here.
All right, and you rinse, and then you apply right over the rinse, you do not shampoo. Okay.
Correct. So that's your first application. You rinse and towel dry, and this does process the full 20 minutes. Okay, your second formula you're gonna do, or your second application, it's gonna be your desired formula, which is 60 grams of my 5.4 and 120 grams of my activator. Depending on how dark she does want to get, since we are going from a 9 to a 5, I would probably leave this on a full 20 minutes. But you can process 15 to 20 depending on how dark she is going.
Okay, now, do you feel like the longer the time it's gonna get darker or last longer?
It can do either or, it just depends on the porosity of the hair and how many levels you're going. Now if I was going from like a 9 to a 7, I'd probably only go 15 minutes because it doesn't need to get that much darker. But I definitely want this to stay in her hair and stay nice and filled, especially going from a 9 to a 5, that's a big jump.
Okay.
And then you would rinse and then follow up with your extra color program. I know I've talked about that a little bit. Before I go on to the after color program, do you want to take some photos?
That,
So did you take a photo of this?
doesn't matter, it's
I'll
doing
take another one. You can always
it.
delete
I think
the
I
photo.
did, but,
I
okay.
think you did too, but I don't
Okay.
remember. There's your chart.
Okay. Ready?
Your first application.
Gosh, this helps so much to get these pictures, okay?
Right. And then your second application.
Okay.
So that
I think I need to get the whole basis of the whole thing.
It's okay, but
Yeah.
If you
I
get
like-
this, you'll be like, oh, I remember hearing that. I remember hearing that.
Yeah.
I'll flip back and I can go over the color characters real quick with you too. And then
Well, I just mean the whole color line.
Oh,
of,
for sure.
You know,
yeah,
to take the class.
the basic classes.
Yeah,
They're so
probably.
helpful. Like they really are. And then for your after color program, you have your shampoo and balsam. It's a pH level of 4, so that's going to stop the oxidation process, like with your highlighting and your color processing as well. It's going to close your cuticle. It's going to remove any of the residual dyes left on the hair, so it helps prevent the staining as well, and it's going to give condition to the hair. I don't know if you've noticed, Keune doesn't stain very much, does it?
Not hardly at all.
Yeah. The
Not
only
hardly
issue
at all.
I've ever really noticed the staining is my darker levels, so like my 3s and 4s. Even like my level 1 client, and he barely has any staining, and it's crazy.
Are you still putting barrier on? Any barrier?
Cream on him.
I would love to get to that point where I was
Well,
not scared enough.
Yeah.
Mars
Because
is also super oily, so it comes right off
That
his
might
skin,
help.
and then he goes home and exfoliates.
Because we've always had to use lots of barrier cream.
You
with
can
the
use
hair.
it if it makes you feel comfortable. It's just going to help prevent it.
Yeah, right.
It's so easy to come off, in my opinion. I haven't really ever had too many issues with it versus other color lines I've used, which, like, especially on reds, I've had that stain on other color lines. Now, again, back to my client Arlene with the red hair I was telling you about. Her doesn't hardly ever have any red on her. Like, it's amazing to me.
Okay.
I'm just thinking about Joyce, the pink. Really doesn't.
I told the story
Yes,
last
you
week.
did.
So what do you think about that? Seriously.
You use the 0 or the 666 or the 667.
Yeah. The ruby red.
Oh, the
Ruby red.
667?
Well, hold on.
Oh my.
I've got it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never paid attention to the.
Of course
And
I.
then turn that fuchsia color. That's amazing. Like, I love how fun
It
that
is hot, hot pink.
Mhm.
I mean,
got the
These
picture.
are designed for darker levels too, though, so keep that in
That's
mind. So
why.
with her being so gray and so light,
She's all
that's why
gray.
that's why
Oh,
she
but
turned
she's
straight as she
white.
did.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
completely white.
So I could put this on my hair, or like one of these, because all this dark is me. I'm a natural level 3/4. I
Yeah.
would do firecracker also.
I did.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
telling you.
Gosh,
That's
so
her.
cute.
That is how
That's it.
fuchsia.
And
Yeah,
then did she show
sorry.
you this last time? She found the photo of the fuchsia from the.
She'll be 83.
This is on
Oh,
white
I can't
hair.
wait.
That
Hey, she'll be 83
Oh,
on
I love
she
Sunday.
pimps it like nobody's business.
I love it.
But who would think it would be that fuchsia? And it's brighter than it even looks in that picture.
Is it really?
We
Yeah.
had about 9. And she looked in there, she said, I
I
love
love
it. She
Leave
will.
the
So
world.
awesome.
I'm like, okay.
I loved that story.
That's
yeah.
such a cute story too.
Mhm.
But yeah, when it's designed for levels like 1 through 5, that's why she was so bright. I would have never expected to be that pink, but that's beautiful color.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. She gets a lot of attention.
I mean,
So the question for Joyce was, what was the question?
Oh no, I was just
Covers
thinking
the
her
gray.
color doesn't stain.
Mhm.
And it covers the gray.
Oh yeah, it does.
What wine developer did you use on her?
20.
Oh my god, really?
Isn't that
That's amazing.
hilarious?
Yeah, I mean, that's
Yeah.
so awesome. It's so cute.
What a
What
great
did you
mistake.
use?
I
What
mean,
would
on
you-
darker levels, you can use 30 or 40 volume with him. Again, you don't really necessarily need to put 40 on the scalp. I never recommend that. But even with 30, I feel like I get so much lift with it using the lifted colors.
Yeah.
It just depends on how dark it is, but that will lift through permanent color as well. Especially like if they're black box red and they just want a hue of red, you could always do like the 666 and the 667 mix to get that little bit of lift through it. But
I did on Mary's diamond. I kind of like painted some pieces through it to see what I would get.
just
And
a bump.
it was a bump. It was a bump where she could see it, but she wouldn't have been, I mean, you couldn't really pick slices out.
Okay.
So it did lighten it
Yeah.
without having, I
And then
probably
you
used
just
40
use,
volume.
you use
666.
666
Probably.
with 40.
I'm gonna say yeah.
Probably 40, and that is a one-to-one.
Because she's a level 3.
Yeah. If it's that in the applications, yeah, definitely 40 is what I would have used as well. But her hair's probably still felt great, right?
Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah, there's no, it did not lose any integrity at all.
Amazing. I love TK that, but Joyce's hair is so cute. I'm glad you
Oh,
had
it
that
is.
photo.
I have to get a cough drop, girls.
Oh, for crying out loud. The
I
drama.
have a week.
It's not. So with your after color, so that's what your after color program's gonna do. And you have your shampoo and your balsam. And after any bleach services, you're gonna want to shampoo twice, so to really bring that pH down.
Did not know that.
Yeah, so with your after color program, make sure you shampoo twice with lightener. And then if you're doing color, shampoo once and then follow up with your balsam and let that sit about 3 minutes.
And then you said last time too, you didn't feel like it, or I said it doesn't get as conditioning as you would like, so you're adding.
Yeah, you can always add another conditioner right over the top. I love the Care Vital Nutrition. I love the color brilliance from the Caroline as well. And really any of them. The keratin is one of my favorites as well. It just depends on whatever the client's hair feels like you need. But I always condition twice. That's just how I was taught in beauty school too. So it's just habit. So it's nice that with the after color program.
2 separate times, or just 2 conditioners, like one on top of each other?
I'll do 2 separate times just because like I want to make sure that the balsam's on there. You're closing the pH level, rinse that off.
Because
and
you're
then
rinsing that off.
Yeah.
And then applying another conditioner.
That's what I do, but I'm sure you could definitely apply one right over the top. It's just a personal preference. But I was always taught to rinse. That's just like a beauty school thing, and that's like just a habit now. But you know.
Because I know there's purpose to that shampoo and the balsam.
Absolutely.
Like a chemical purpose to that. But the hair's still feeling rough. But I know that's not because it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing. I just feel like it needs more.
Yeah, then add another conditioner over the
Okay.
top. No harm, no foul there. I mean, I like my hair to feel slick when I'm done. Sometimes I get that with just the balsam. Other times I'm like, I'll throw another conditioner on there
Okay.
and go do whatever else I need to do, and then come back and
Okay.
yeah. Any other questions? I'll go back over the color characteristics real quick with you too. But if you ever have any questions, we do have a hotline, which I know you.
I
have
took the picture, but I better take it another
Take
time.
another
just to-
one. So we have our hotline here. You can call that number and you'll answer any question that you may have. We have 2 different Instagrams, at Keune Hair Cosmetics and at Keune in America, which is our Keune North America.
Okay, I got both of those things.
Info@Keune.com, that's the email if you have any questions. We have Keune Education if you want to .com if you want to book any other classes as well. And then we have the Street Salon app also. And then my Instagram is at Victoria Kelly Hairstyling.
Okay, that's you directly.
That's me personally,
Okay.
yeah. And Ella's, you just changed yours. It's at Ella_King_hair.
Yes, I don't know what it is.
Okay.
You got it.
At Zoe Gray
It's
Salon,
that.
I know there's that one.
Yeah, you.
And then I did a
Oh,
new one
God.
too for just the hair page.